Welcome back everybody, it's DestinysJesus here. Today I've got a brand new video inspired by the comments in my last video. If you didn't see it, my last video was how to go pro in 2021, and I had a load of comments saying, oh, this is such a good video, I'm really glad that you made it. However, a couple people were like, how the hell am I supposed to go ahead and start placing in solo cash cups and I've got 0 PR and I'm really not that confident in game. So what we're going to do in this video is looking at 6 players, 6 different examples of players this year who started popping off. They've won 50,000, 100,000 from tournaments. Some cases these players are in school full time, such as a couple of the German players, and also some other cases where these players started this year with 0 PR, 0 earnings, absolute nothing, and they worked their way up from scratch. We're looking at what they did to perform these ways, a couple of different like interview type things that I got from some of the players with some really good examples of what you guys should be doing, and this will hopefully just motivate you guys to have a really good year in terms of Fortnite success. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like if you did, and also subscribe if you're new. I'm probably one of the most improved players this year, without a doubt, has to be Vadeal. Crazy fact about this guy is he started this year with 0 earnings and 0 placements, 0 PR, literally nothing. He got a new PC, he worked his arse off, and he started placing really consistently. A lot of people in the original, when he started popping off, thought he was hacking, because his very first result was the fact that he got 4th place in the solo cash cup. From there, he went and played and placed in literally most solo events. He did really good in both of the FNCS Grand Finals that happened for the solos. Then he went ahead and started playing with Noah Riley and Rezon. Those guys absolutely dominated Trio Cash Cups, every single form of open tournament. He went ahead and placed and won the DreamHack Duos of November with Noah Riley. And this year alone, he's made 60,000 just from this year, and he had 0 earnings the previous years. Absolutely crazy improvement, and this is one of those players I think you really should look at. Put your time into working on solos, make sure that you try consistently placing in cash cups, which is your first placement, and then you'll be able to pop off and do well from there. Whofishy is another example of a player who's absolutely popped off this year. Coming to 2020, he only had 2k PR, then he went ahead and placed in every single solo event. I'm not joking when I say this, FNCS Invitational both for the weeks, then he placed 10th in the Grand Finals, so many solo cash cup placements where he made money in the early DreamHacks, did good consistent placements as well. The next FNCS solo qualifiers, he got 4th place back to back in qualifier 3 and 4, then he got 7th place in Grand Finals, so many consistent placements throughout on all the different solo cups that happened, 9th place in the solo DreamHack Finals as well, so many other money placements that you can see here that's led him to having like 30k earnings just from this year. Now I went ahead and DM'd Whofishy for you guys to just get an idea of what he'd recommend, and most of his advice is really solid that I'd recommend you guys listening to. First of all, he just says VODing is a big part of improvement, not just looking at others' games as well as your own, also looking at your deaths from your opponent's perspective. You can gain a lot of insight on your cause of death just by looking at how the other guy killed you. This is something that he'd recommend for solos, and also for trios I guess it would work too. Also, finding some dedicated teammates or friends to grind with helps a lot. So the importance of having a friend group that you can grind with is super important in his eyes. Being on a schedule will help you optimize your time and performance. And the last thing that Whofishy recommends is just the fact that you need to make sure you're on a schedule so you can optimize your time and performance. This is all advice that I covered in my last video, how to go pro in 2021, and it's really solid advice from Whofishy that I recommend you guys listen to. Try to optimize your time and performance on this game to make sure that you're performing to the best of your ability in tournaments, and you can start popping off in solos as well. Now, Rezon came into 2020 not really too well known. This completely changed, however, when the map changed and also the shotgun meta changed. At the time, we had the pump and attack in the game at the same time, and this is where Rezon just took off. He just absolutely dominated and owned the fact that he was the best attack player in the game. He had a very specific playstyle where he'd beam people and then just instantly exploit it. He'd hit from somebody to 30 and he'd jump in their box with a purple tack and just aim duel them and always win those fights. He was one of the first examples of players that I saw aim dueling a lot, along with Noah Riley, who's also one of those breakout players this year. One thing that I'd recommend if you're trying to improve in solos along, like just like Rezon did at the start of this year, he went on to win the Mongol Cup and so many other solo events, is just the fact that you need to own a drop spot. Rezon during solo FNCS had the entirety of Holly Hedges completely uncontested. He was able to upgrade to purple attack every game, and this is one of the keys for success. Absolutely everybody was scared to contest him, just the fact that he was so dominant at that spot or spawn, and everybody was scared to rotate near him mid-game. There was kind of a big force field of people scared to go near him because he was known as one of the best W killers. Even Benjifizzi said that he was scared to fight Rezon in-game, and that's just one of the reasons for his success. So the keys to take away from Rezon is the fact that you need to own a drop spot, and you need to own a playstyle and weapon type that works for you. If you can do both of those things, I guarantee you have a lot more success in-game. Without a doubt, the most improved player of NA East for 2020 has to be Mero. He came in from 2019 at the start of 2020 with 400 PR from console. Then he went ahead and won a solo cash cup, he won true FNCS, and he also just placed extremely consistently, and his most recent tournament win was with Calc in the DreamHack Duos. How did he go from having 400 console PR to being such a dominant NA East player? This is how he did it. He was known as a creative player. He was basically just a massive wager player where he was always had very good aim and very good mechanics in creative. Then he tried to transfer that into in-game and especially for solos, playing as much arena solos as possible, getting as much realistic fighting practice, and also just playing a lot of solo scrims to improve his game sense. From there, he placed extremely consistently, but never really had that grand finals pop-off that he needed. He did good in the open qualifiers, you can see he got second place in some of the days, and then he finally got picked up by one of the probably most underrated IGLs in NA, which is Reverse 2K, along with Day. Him and Mero went ahead and won the True FNCS with their coach 50 Torns, who I know is an amazing coach, and then he's basically just placed so good from there. All of this is just the fact that if you are an extremely good creative player, get out of creative and go and play arena solos or play solo scrims, and if you think you do have the potential, you need to make sure that you put in the effort and put in the work to realise it. Cammy is one of those players that's been in the Fortnite scene for a very long time. Towards the end of 2019, he started consistently placing in solo cash cups and he got about 8k PR in that year. Coming to 2020, something drastic happened for Cammy. He basically claimed an entire portion of the map and he started popping off in every single tournament. 7th in solo FNCS, 5th in duo FNCS, placing consistently non-stop throughout with his trio as well. And I think the key for success here and what's led to him having 100k plus earnings just in this year is the fact that he's claimed this part of the map. Nobody wants to contest it in a grand final, even in open tournaments. He's frequently uncontested because of how dominant he is in this part of the map. He knows it like the back of his hand, and he really just doesn't have anybody ever contesting him because of how dominant he is here. Fits his playstyle perfectly because he can play passively throughout the mid game, and also gives him enough loot to pop off endgame, and always means he has very good positioning. Cammy is one of those players that always plays for positioning, where he's in a very good position and he can have a lot of mats going to endgame, and he's very good at tarping as well, which works out perfectly for him. Now, without a doubt, the last player on our list has to be Reet. This guy came to 2020 and I guarantee nobody would have heard of him, and now he's just at the top of everybody's minds in terms of the best W keys in the world. And for Reet, without a doubt, the biggest thing in his success has to just become from his really intelligent use of piece control in game. If you can get your fighting mechanics as good as Reet, no doubt you'll be extremely good in cash cups, and also the fact that he is so confident in game, knowing that he'll win every single angel, knowing that he'll win every single 50-50 trade that he takes, just because of the fact that he is extremely confident in those box-to-box situations.